Okay, so are you ready to like jump into AI and networking?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're going to deep dive into this YouTube video from the Tecto channel.
Okay.
And it features this founder, Matt.
Right.
He's got experience at Clearbank.
Yeah.
But now he's on to something new.
Yep.
Boardy.ai. So it's kind of cool because we're going to look at his entrepreneurial journey,
Yeah.
see what he learned along the way, and then get into like this potential game changer, Boardy.ai. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited. It seems like he's got a really interesting background, like not the typical Silicon Valley story.
Right.
He dropped out of UPenn.
Oh, yeah.
Which is an Ivy League school.
Yeah, so he dropped out of an Ivy League school to join Clearbank.
Right.
And I think this is so fascinating.
Yeah.
He made this decision over coconut drinks at Cabana Pool Bar with the founder of Clearbank, Andrew.
Pretty good decision-making environment.
Yeah. I mean, talk about like,
Yeah.
I don't know, who wouldn't want to make big decisions like that?
Right.
Yeah. Tell me about Clearbank. I hear it was kind of a wild ride.
So while Matt was there, the company grew from like 10 employees to 700 employees. Wild ride is right.
Yeah.
He started as chief of staff and then went to corp dev and helped them raise over $500 million in equity and $1.5 billion in debt.
Okay.
But then
That's insane.
it wasn't all, sunshine and roses.
Yeah.
So after COVID, Clearbank had some issues.
I bet. So was that a big learning experience?
Huge.
Okay.
Matt talks about having to really adapt quickly to survive. Like before the downturn, capital was just available. Everybody was focused on growth, growth, growth. But then suddenly they had to be way more efficient.
Right. Sustainability and all that.
Yeah, exactly. They had to become much more sustainable.
Okay. So what was like the, pure gold takeaway from that whole experience for him?
I think that he learned that building a resilient and adaptable business model is essential.
Yeah.
He realized that relying too much on outside funding can be really risky, especially when the market changes so quickly.
Right.
So, yeah, he had to make tough decisions, cut costs, streamline operations.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it made Clearbank much stronger.
Okay. So navigating the downturn taught him to be adaptable. I like that. But in his early days at Clearbank, he talks about this idea of like faking it until you make it.
Right.
What's the story there?
He tells this really funny story about one of his first work trips to New York with Andrew, the founder of Clearbank. Matt shows up in a full suit, Ivy League grad.
Yeah.
And Andrew's just in jeans and a T-shirt.
Oh, my gosh.
Matt felt so out of place.
I bet.
He actually went back to his hotel to change.
Oh, that's hilarious. So I guess it's like, read the room.
Definitely.
But like on a deeper level, what does faking it until you make it actually mean when it comes to being an entrepreneur?
It doesn't mean being dishonest or like pretending to be something you're not.
Okay.
It's more about having the confidence to try new things, even if you don't feel totally ready. Okay. It's about believing in yourself and your vision, even when things are tough.
Okay.
And that can be really powerful when you're trying to get investors and partners on board.
So it's more about confidence and a willingness to learn than having all the answers right away.
Exactly.
Interesting. So then he also talks about this idea of being the best friend.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Matt believes that strong relationships are at the heart of every successful venture.
Yeah.
So being the best friend is about being supportive, reliable, and a genuine friend to the people you work with.
So it's not just networking to collect business cards.
No.
It's more about building authentic relationships with people, wanting to help them succeed.
That's exactly right.
And he thinks this is even more important now with AI coming into the picture.
Right.
Because AI can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But it can't replace empathy and trust and those things that make us human.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is where his new venture comes in, Boardy.ai.
Right.
So I'm really curious to learn more about like how it works, what makes it different.
So Boardy.ai is designed to really overcome the limitations of traditional networking.
Yeah.
It uses AI to analyze conversations, see what people's goals are, and then suggest connections that could be really valuable.
Okay, and this all comes back to his idea that relationships are still going to be the most valuable thing we have.
Exactly.
Even with AI doing all this stuff. So can you elaborate on that a bit more? I think our listeners would be interested to hear about that.
Sure. So Matt believes that as AI becomes more and more sophisticated, it's going to automate a lot of the tasks that we spend our time on now.
Right.
Which will free us up to focus on things that really matter.
Like building a relationship.
Like building relationships, pursuing our passions, making a difference.
Yeah.
And Boardy.ai is built to help us do all that.
Ooh.
By connecting us with people who can support our goals and help make our visions a reality.
Okay, so we've got this like unconventional entrepreneur who's learned some tough lessons about, being adaptable and the importance of genuine connection.
Right.
And now he's building this AI tool to help us navigate the whole networking landscape.
Yeah.
I'm hooked. So tell me, what exactly is Boardy.ai?
It's basically an AI avatar that networks for you.
Okay.
So it listens to your conversations, understands what you need, and then suggests connections to people who can help you reach your goals.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So how does it actually work? What's the tech behind it?
So at its core, Boardy.ai uses natural language processing, or NLP.
Okay.
This allows the AI to understand conversations in a really nuanced way.
Okay.
So it's not just about matching keywords or job titles.
Okay.
It's about understanding the intent behind what people are saying and finding connections that could lead to something really special.
So it's not just about expanding your network.
Right.
It's about making connections that actually mean something.
Exactly.
And could, grow into something bigger. So how does it actually identify those valuable connections?
So every conversation you have is like a data point for Boardy.ai.
Yeah.
It looks at the words, the tone, even the emotions.
Wow.
And over time, it learns about your network and what your goals are.
Okay.
So then when you need to connect with someone,
Yeah.
whether it's to find a mentor, a collaborator, or just someone to talk to,
Right.
Boardy.ai can sort through all that data and recommend the best people to talk to.
So it's like having an AI that knows who you know,
Yeah.
but also understands your relationships with them
Right.
and how those relationships could help you reach your goals.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing.
And it's always learning. So as you have more conversations and make new connections,
Yeah.
the AI gets even better at predicting who you should be talking to.
So it's personalized, it's proactive, and it keeps evolving.
Yeah.
I can see how this could totally change the game for networking.
Right.
But how is it different from LinkedIn?
So LinkedIn is great for managing your professional image
Yeah.
and finding potential connections,
Uh-huh.
but it's not as deep as Boardy.ai.
What do you mean?
LinkedIn is more of a static platform.
Right.
You create a profile, you list your experience.
Yeah.
But Boardy.ai is all about dynamic interaction.
Yep.
It actually analyzes your conversations, which makes it much better at figuring out those connections that could really make a difference.
So it's not just about who you know.
Right.
It's how you interact with them.
Right.
And what you can achieve together.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. I know they did a live demo at Tecto.
They did.
What did they show?
They brought up an event organizer named Jason.
Okay.
He wanted to double attendance at his next event.
Common problem. And what did Boardy.ai do?
So Boardy.ai listened to Jason explain his goals and challenges, and then right there on the spot, it recommended connecting with a marketing expert who had successfully increased attendance at similar events.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. What was the audience's reaction?
They loved it.
Did they have a lot of questions?
Yeah.
What were they asking?
A lot of people were wondering how they could use Boardy.ai to connect with people they already knew.
Okay.
And if it could be used for other things besides networking.
Like what?
Like maybe within companies to streamline workflows or something.
Interesting.
And then others were curious if it could help people connect in smaller communities.
Oh.
Like alumni groups or even just friend groups.
I can see how that would be valuable.
Yeah,
It seems like people are really starting to understand how powerful this technology could be.
definitely. And it's just the beginning.
Yeah.
As AI gets more advanced, who knows what's possible?
It's exciting to think about. So we're talking about an AI that can analyze conversations and make connections based on what it learns. It's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
But some people might be wondering if this kind of technology actually, takes away from genuine human connection. What do you think about that?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And Matt actually talks about that directly. He says that tools like Boardy.ai aren't supposed to replace human interaction.
Right.
They're supposed to enhance it and make it easier to connect with people.
I see.
Kind of like a way to overcome those limitations we all have in our own networks and our own biases.
Yeah.
We tend to connect with people who are already similar to us.
Yeah, it's easy to stay in our comfort zones.
Right. But Boardy.ai could help us break out of those silos and connect with people who have totally different perspectives and experiences.
Okay. So it's not about replacing those human connections.
Right.
It's more about expanding our horizons and finding those connections that could really have an impact.
Exactly.
That makes sense. But let's go back to the demo with Jason for a minute. You mentioned the audience had a lot of questions.
Yeah, they did.
Were there any concerns about, the ethics of using AI for networking?
Absolutely. Some people brought up concerns about data privacy and potential bias in those algorithms.
Yeah, those are some big questions. So what did Matt have to say about that?
He acknowledged those concerns and said that they're building Boardy.ai with ethics as a top priority. Like, he explained that they anonymize and encrypt user data to protect people's privacy.
Okay.
And they're constantly checking and refining their algorithms to make sure they're fair and unbiased.
So they're really taking those concerns seriously.
Oh, yeah.
And trying to address them from the start.
Yeah.
What other questions did the audience have about Boardy.ai?
Oh, one person asked if you could use Boardy.ai to, manipulate people or create fake relationships.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. I can see why someone might be worried about that.
Yeah, and Matt said that Boardy.ai is really just a tool. Right. And any tool can be used for good or for bad.
True.
It really comes down to the person using it and what kind of connections they want to make.
So intention is everything.
Yeah.
It's about how we choose to use these tools, not the tools themselves.
Exactly.
Okay, so it sounds like it all comes back to intention and being mindful of how we use these powerful technologies.
Right. And having these conversations about the ethics is so important.
Yeah.
Especially as AI becomes more advanced.
Totally.
Yeah.
So we can make sure it benefits everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about Matt's advice for young professionals.
Sure.
The ones who are just starting out in this crazy world of work and relationships.
Yeah.
What are some of the key things he learned along the way?
I think one of the most important things is to never stop learning.
Okay.
Especially now with AI changing everything so quickly.
So it's not enough to just have a degree?
Yep.
You need to keep learning new skills.
Exactly. You need to be adaptable.
So how do you do that? What does he recommend?
Well, he's a big believer in mentors.
Okay.
And building a diverse network of people who can teach you new things and challenge your thinking.
So it's all about being open to new ideas.
Yeah.
And he also encourages young professionals to embrace new technologies and experiment with different tools. So it's like a growth mindset for the digital age.
Exactly. You have to be curious and adaptable and not be afraid to try new things.
That's good advice. But it can feel overwhelming trying to keep up with all the changes. Where do you even begin?
Just start small. Pick one thing that interests you.
Okay.
Like AI, data science, coding, whatever, and just start exploring. There's so many resources out there to help you learn.
Like online courses and tutorials.
Exactly.
And he talks a lot about the importance of networking, too.
Right.
But not just networking to get ahead.
Nope.
He sees it as something deeper, right?
Yeah, he believes networking is about finding people who share your values and vision.
It's about finding your tribe.
Yeah, people who support you and challenge you to be your best.
And it's about what you can give to your network, not just what you can take.
Exactly. It's about building those genuine relationships.
And those relationships take time and effort to build.
They do.
Yeah.
You have to be authentic, be helpful, and be present.
It's not about those superficial interactions.
Nope.
It's about building real connections based on respect and shared purpose.
Exactly.
And it sounds like Boardy.ai could really help facilitate those kinds of connections.
It could. By connecting us with people who share our goals and interests. Yeah.
Boardy.ai could help us work together to create some really amazing things.
So we've got this incredible entrepreneur who's learned some valuable lessons about adapting and connecting with people.
And he's using what he's learned to build a tool that could change the way we network forever.
It's an inspiring story.
It is.
And it raises a lot of interesting questions about the future.
Yeah, it really does. And I think his story resonates with a lot of people who are feeling overwhelmed by all the changes happening in the world.
It's a message of hope and empowerment.
Yeah, he believes that we have the power to create the future we want.
That's a powerful message, and one that I think we all need to hear right now.
I agree.
But before we wrap up, I want to talk a bit more about Boardy.ai and its potential impact.
Sure.
I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on how this technology could change the way we connect and work together.
Yeah, it really makes you think about all the possibilities.
Right. Like, imagine a world where connecting with the right people.
Yeah.
The people who have similar goals and passions as you.
Yeah. It just becomes easy, effortless.
It'd be amazing.
It's like almost like we're changing the whole way we think about relationships.
Right.
It's not even about who you know anymore.
Yeah.
It's about who your AI thinks you should know, which is a little crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But like, how realistic is this really? Can we actually trust an AI to understand something as complex as, human connection?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to what Matt was saying about Boardy.ai not replacing human interaction, but more like amplifying it.
Okay.
Helping us make those connections that we might not have made on our own.
So it's like it gives us a nudge in the right direction.
Right. It's a catalyst for something deeper.
Yeah.
AI can make the introduction.
Okay.
But then it's up to us as humans to build that relationship.
Right. To actually put in the work.
Exactly. To make it real.
And, it's interesting to think about how this could change how we approach networking.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it often feels very transactional. You're just trying to, collect contacts,
Just to get ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
But with a tool like Boardy.ai,
yeah,
it shifts the focus to collaboration.
right. Working together.
Yeah, exactly.
And helping each other succeed.
Right. Achieving something together.
Okay, I'm totally on board.
Yeah.
Where do I sign up?
I know, right? It's exciting.
But, let's be real for a second. There are always going to be challenges when you introduce new technology, especially something as potentially groundbreaking as Boardy.ai.
For sure.
What are some of the, hurdles they might face?
Well, I think one of the biggest ones will be overcoming skepticism.
Okay.
And building trust,
Right, because people can be wary of AI.
Oh, yeah. Especially when it comes to their personal relationships.
Right.
So Boardy.ai will have to prove that it can be trusted with sensitive information.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And that it's being used ethically.
Yeah, that's super important.
And then there's also the issue of access and equity. We don't want to create a system where only certain people have access to this technology.
Right, needs to be available to everyone.
Exactly, regardless of their background or resources.
I'm glad they're thinking about that.
Yeah, and Matt and his team are definitely aware of those concerns.
Okay, good.
They're committed to making Boardy.ai a tool for positive change, a tool that helps people connect and create a more equitable world.
I love that.
I do too.
Well, after this deep dive, I'm feeling really optimistic about the future of networking.
Me too.
It's clear that AI has the potential to, completely change the game.
Oh, sure.
And I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
But of course, we have to be mindful of the challenges.
Uh-huh.
And use this technology responsibly.
It's a powerful tool.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a really fascinating time, isn't it? We're on the edge of something brand new.
Right. And it's up to us to decide what that future looks like.
And tools like Boardy.ai give us the power to connect and collaborate in ways we never imagined.
Yeah.
But we have to use that power wisely.
Couldn't agree more.
So as you keep learning about AI and human connection, I want you to ask yourself a few questions.
Okay.
What kind of connections do you want to build? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? And how can technology help you achieve those things?
Those are good questions.
I think the answers will shape not just your future,
Yeah.
but the future of all of us.
That's a great point.
It is, isn't it?
Well, I hope our listeners enjoyed this deep dive.
I hope so, too.
It's a really fascinating topic.
It is.
And one that's going to keep evolving. So whether you're an entrepreneur, a student, or just someone who's interested in the future, the most important thing is to stay curious, stay connected, and never stop learning.
That's the key.
Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.